The spaceship was quiet. Too quiet. The human crew had been exploring the outer edge of the galaxy for months, mapping strange planets and collecting samples. Everything seemed normal until the day it wasn't. It started with a flicker in the control room lights. A low hum echoed through the metal walls. Captain James felt it first. He pressed his hand against the console, trying to steady himself. "Did anyone else hear that?" he asked. Mira, the youngest crew member, shook her head. I don't think so," she said, her voice trembling slightly. Before anyone could respond, the spaceship shuddered violently. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Everyone grabbed onto something to keep from falling. The screen in front of them went black. Then silence. When they opened their eyes again, nothing looked familiar. The walls were no longer the cold metal of their ship. Instead, they were smooth, pale, and softly glowing. The air smelled faintly sweet, almost metallic, but not unpleasant. The humans tried to speak, but their voices sounded strange in the quiet room. "Where are we?" Mira whispered. No one answered. They looked around, trying to find the control room, the engines, the familiar panels. But it was all gone. Only smooth corridors stretched ahead. Suddenly, the humans noticed movement. Across the room, something humanoid, but not human, stood observing them. Its skin shimmered faintly, pale with hints of blue, and its large eyes seemed to see everything. It wore a long robe, unlike anything from Earth. The humans froze. They had read about aliens in books, in simulations, in movies, but nothing prepared them for a real one. Staring at them calmly, the creature made no aggressive move. Instead, it stepped forward slowly, almost floating. It tilted its head, watching, studying. A soft humming noise escaped its throat. It was not a sound humans could fully understand, yet somehow they all felt it was a question. Who are you?" Captain James finally asked, trying to sound brave. The alien made a small gesture, pointing at the humans, then at their heads, as if indicating something inside them. One of the humans, Lena, felt a chill. Something about the gesture suggested it wasn't just observing them, it was examining them, like a doctor studying a patient. And then it spoke, not in alien clicks or roars, but in perfect English, calm and measured. "Why are you alive?" The question froze them. It was simple yet terrifying. Alive? Of course they were alive. But the tone suggested something deeper, something they didn't understand. What do you mean?" James asked, his voice shaky. The alien's large eyes blinked slowly. "You should not be here. You should not survive. Yet you breathe. Yet your hearts beat. Why?" Mira swallowed hard. She felt the blood drain from her face. Every simulation, every warning about alien intelligence, flashed in her mind. This was no ordinary alien. They were studying life itself, studying humans. The creature moved closer, not threateningly, but with an intensity that made the humans instinctively step back. It placed a small device on the floor. It emitted soft pulses of light, syncing with the humans' heartbeats. Lena noticed it immediately. It wasn't just a machine, it was measuring something inside them, something vital. We were exploring," James said carefully. "We didn't mean to intrude." The alien tilted its head again, analyzing his words. Then it made another gesture, touching its chest, then theirs. They could feel a strange warmth, almost like a faint pressure on their minds. Images flashed in their heads, memories of Earth, of their families, of moments that seemed precious and fragile. One by one, the humans gasped. Their thoughts felt exposed. Yet the alien seemed curious, not cruel. "Sleep," the alien said simply. Before they could protest, the humans felt an irresistible pull. Their legs weakened, their eyes heavy. One by one, they collapsed onto soft platforms that had appeared in the room. The platforms were warm, almost inviting, and as soon as they touched them, a deep calm settled over them. Even in sleep, they could sense the alien moving around, observing, recording, studying. Every pulse, every breath, every dream seemed to be noted. In their dreams, they saw strange visions, not nightmares, not memories exactly, but something in between, visions of alien worlds, impossible landscapes, and creatures they could not name. Yet, Within those visions, they also felt something familiar, a spark of human determination, courage, and curiosity. James dreamed of Earth, of his crew, and of their mission. He dreamed of moments of fear, of joy, of struggle. He woke up, or thought he did, to the alien hovering over him, looking at him like a scientist examining a specimen. "Why?" James whispered in the dream. The alien leaned closer. "Why do you fight? Why do you survive when others do not?" He awoke with a start, the platform gently lowering him back to the floor. Around him, the others were stirring, confused, shaken. Their eyes met, sharing the same silent question. Why were they still alive? Mira was the first to speak. It watches us even when we sleep." The alien's voice came again, soft but firm. "Sleep, dreaming, these reveal much. You are extraordinary." Lena frowned. "Extraordinary? What do you mean? What are you trying to do with us?" The alien made no immediate answer. Instead, it moved around the room, scanning, observing, recording. It seemed calm, methodical, and yet every gesture carried weight. The humans began to understand something terrifying. They were not being threatened physically, but their very existence, their essence, was being examined. Hours passed. Though it was hard to measure time in the strange room, the humans tried to resist, tried to communicate, but every effort seemed met with quiet observation rather than hostility. Then, the alien spoke again, the words slower this time, almost thoughtful. "You survive because of your sleep, because of your thoughts, because of your spirit." The humans exchanged glances. Spirit? Thoughts? Could this alien understand something beyond biology? Something about their humanity? James clenched his fists. "Are we a test?" The alien paused, then tilted its head. Its eyes were almost curious, as if it were pondering the same question. Then it gestured toward the platforms again. "Sleep, dream, reveal." Once more, the humans were drawn to platforms, exhausted, afraid, and yet compelled. They lay down, hearts racing, minds swirling. As they drifted into sleep, each human felt a strange mix of fear and hope. They were alive, yes, but why? And what did the alien intend to learn? Outside, the room remained quiet. The alien medic moved between them with precision, observing every twitch, every blink, every breath. It was not cruel. It was patient, intelligent, and curious in a way humans could not fully comprehend. And then at the edge of their awareness, one thought emerged in unison. We are being watched. Not to kill us, but to understand us. The realization was terrifying. Survival was no longer enough. They had to understand the observer to survive. As sleep overtook them once again, the alien whispered, not in words humans could hear, but in a vibration that echoed in their minds. "Why, are you still alive?" And in that question, the humans felt new fear. Not of death, not of pain, but of revelation. The alien was not just studying them. It was studying the very thing that made them human. The first night in the alien laboratory ended with. The humans woke again, but this time, something had changed. The room felt different. The soft glow of the walls pulsed gently, almost like it was alive. The platforms had disappeared, replaced by small pods lying along the room, each one just big enough to hold a human curled inside. The air was warmer, yet sterile, and a faint hum vibrated through the floor. Captain James rose slowly, rubbing his eyes. Mira sat beside him, her hands trembling. What is this place?" she whispered. Her voice sounded fragile, almost swallowed by the room's hum. Before anyone could answer, the alien appeared. It did not walk this time. It glided, moving without touching the floor. Its robe flowed as if underwater, and its large, intelligent eyes scanned each human carefully. "You awaken," it said in its calm, deliberate English. "It is time to learn." The humans exchanged nervous glances. "Learn?" Lena asked. "Learn what?" The alien did not answer immediately. Instead, it extended a hand toward a panel of floating lights that hovered in midair. Colors shifted, forming patterns and diagrams that no human had ever seen. The lights pulsed in rhythm with the human's heartbeats. "You sleep?" the alien said slowly. "Dream. Thoughts revealed. Emotions measured. Life observed." James swallowed. "Are you experimenting on us?" The alien paused as if considering the word. Experiment is only one term. Observation, understanding, learning, these are more precise. The humans were silent. There was no anger, no immediate danger, yet an invisible weight pressed down on them. Every heartbeat, every breath, every flicker of thought seemed under scrutiny. The alien moved closer to Mira. Its long fingers hovered near her temple. A faint blue light traced patterns over her forehead. Mira felt it like a gentle touch, but her mind felt exposed. Memories, dreams, fears, they all seemed to flow into the alien's awareness. "Do you feel pain?" Mira whispered, her voice shaking. The alien paused, tilting its head. Its large eyes studied her like a scientist examining a specimen. Then it spoke, almost thoughtfully. "Not pain, perception. Response. Survival." James stepped forward. "Why us? Why are we still alive? So many before us." The alien's eyes flickered briefly. "Because you persist. You endure. You dream. You fight, even when unaware. These qualities are unusual." The humans realized they were part of something beyond any simulation, beyond any war story. This alien was not just studying their bodies. It was studying what made them human. For hours, the alien observed them. It did not speak much, only occasionally asking simple questions. "Do you fear? Do you hope? Do you remember?" Every question, though short, carried immense weight. Humans instinctively responded, not fully understanding why they obeyed the alien's silent command. Every answer seemed to feed its knowledge, yet also revealed their strengths, their weaknesses, and their most private thoughts. As the day, or what felt like a day in that strange place, passed, the humans began to notice patterns in the alien's behavior. It was not cruel. It did not punish. Yet its observation was relentless. It moved between them, adjusting floating devices, touching panels, recording data, and sometimes just staring. Mira, desperate for understanding, finally asked, "Are we part of a test? Is this some kind of challenge?" The alien did not answer immediately. It hovered above her pod, watching her eyes, her expressions, even the tiny movements of her fingers. Then it finally spoke. "Test implies failure or success. You are not failure yet. Observation is deeper than that. Life is complex curiosity, survival, spirit." The words were strange, almost poetic, yet carried a cold, alien precision. The humans felt simultaneously small and significant, fragile and extraordinary. By the next sleep cycle, the alien introduced something new. Tiny devices appeared on their wrists, pulsing faintly. They were not restraints, but monitors, tracking their sleep cycles, measuring brain waves, recording reactions. Every twitch, every heartbeat, every half-formed dream was captured. Lena felt it first. She dreamed of a small village on Earth, of children running in sunlight, of rivers that sparkled. When she woke, the alien's eyes glimmered, as if it had seen her memories, her hopes, her joys. "You dream vividly," it said simply. "Why?" "Because we are human," Lena replied cautiously. "Dreaming is what we do." The alien tilted its head, almost as if it was puzzled. Dream, process, survival, emotion, all connected. The humans began to understand that every small detail mattered. The alien was not testing strength or fighting skills. It was measuring something far more subtle. Their very ability to live, to adapt, to hope, and to endure even when trapped. As days, or what felt like days, passed, the humans noticed changes in themselves. Sleep became deeper, dreams sharper, and awareness heightened. They could almost sense the alien's attention, feel its presence even when it was across the room. Captain James realized something terrifying. They were being studied not for harm, but for understanding. Every fear, every hope, every memory, every dream was valuable data, and the alien's intelligence seemed to grow with each observation. During one session, Mira dreamed vividly of a child lost in a forest, calling out for her parents. She woke to find the alien hovering above her, scanning her mind. "Fear, instinct, persistence," it whispered. "You survive against odds." Mira shivered. She began to see a pattern. It was not her alone. Each human showed unique qualities, strengths they had never considered important. Their resilience, creativity, courage, and curiosity all made them exceptional. Then came the first confrontation. James, frustrated and terrified, demanded, "Why us? Why not others? There are billions of humans. Why did you pick us?" The alien's eyes glimmered faintly, and it answered slowly. "Others fail. Others break. You persist. Life is rare, yet you endure." For the first time, the humans realized that survival had meaning beyond chance. The alien was not cruel. It recognized something remarkable in them. But with recognition came fear. If they failed, if they faltered in even the smallest thought or reaction, would they still survive? Night came again, though night was meaningless in that glowing room. They lay on the pods, drifting into sleep. But this time, their dreams were invaded by flashes of alien worlds. Massive cities floated in clouds. Creatures with shapes impossible to describe moved with elegance, and strange lights pulsed across the skies. In these dreams, the humans felt both awe and fear. They were small, fragile, yet in some inexplicable way connected to the alien, as if their very essence mattered to it. James woke suddenly, sweating. The alien was beside him. Its eyes, calm and intelligent, seemed almost human in their depth. "You survive through thought," it said. "Dreams show capacity, persistence, adaptability, spirit." James realized something horrifying. This was no ordinary study. They were not just being observed. They were being tested not by rules or battles, but by the raw essence of what made them human. Hours blurred into cycles of observation and dreams. The humans began to cooperate, learning to control their responses, their fears, even their dreams. Every interaction with the alien became a delicate dance, showing enough to survive, but not revealing everything. One night, Lena whispered to Mira, "Do you think it understands us?" Mira shook her head. "Not fully, but it sees enough. It sees our essence, our survival, our spirit." The alien's questions became more personal. It asked about their families, their memories, their motivations. Every answer fed its understanding. And yet, each answer also brought hope. For the first time, the humans understood they were not being punished, nor were they meaningless. But there was also fear. The alien's observation was relentless. Every heartbeat, every thought, every dream was accounted for. Survival depended not on strength or weapons, but on mind, heart, and spirit. The humans began to sense a subtle pattern in the alien's methods. It did not care about brute force. It cared about adaptability, courage, hope, and ingenuity. These qualities had kept them alive, and perhaps would continue to do so. As the first week in the alien laboratory ended, a chilling realization settled over them. The alien had learned about humans faster than they could understand the alien. Every dream, every thought, every instinct was feeding its knowledge. And yet, the humans were not powerless. They began to notice that the alien reacted subtly to courage, to hope, to cleverness. Perhaps these qualities were the key to survival. Captain James looked around at his crew, exhausted, frightened, but alive. He whispered, "We are not just alive, we are being understood, and maybe that is our chance." Mira nodded, gripping his hand. "Then we survive, not for ourselves, but to show it why humans endure." The alien watched silently, floating above them, observing, calculating, learning. And in its calm, alien way, it seemed almost curious. For the humans, the question remained, would understanding be enough to survive? Or was survival itself only the first step in a far greater challenge? The humans had begun to understand something terrifying. This alien was not merely studying their bodies. It was studying their minds, their choices, their very nature. Each night, the sleep cycles, dreams, and memories fed the alien with data beyond anything they could imagine. And now, it began asking questions unusual, unsettling questions that seemed simple at first but carried hidden weight. Captain James awoke to a dim, pulsating light in the laboratory. The hum of the alien room vibrated to the floor, the walls almost breathing with soft luminescence. The alien was already there, hovering silently above the pods. "You awaken," it said, its calm voice echoing faintly, almost as if it was inside their heads rather than the room. James rubbed his eyes. "Yes, awake. Again, what do you want now? The alien tilted its head, large eyes glimmering with a color that shifted as it studied him. Tell me, why do you hope? James froze. Hope? Of all things, why would hope matter? He looked around at his crew. Mira sat with her arms wrapped around her knees, eyes wide with fear. Lena's lips trembled as if she could answer, but the words caught in her throat. Hope keeps us alive, James said cautiously. Without hope, we would give up. The alien's gaze lingered. Give up? Why do you fight when everything seems lost? James struggled to find words. Fighting wasn't about strength. Not always. Because we have to. Because if we stop, we fail. Not just ourselves, but everything we care about. The alien remained silent for a long moment, as if absorbing the weight of his words. Then, slowly, it moved closer to Mira. Its hands hovered near her temples again, but this time, she did not feel calm. She felt vulnerable, exposed, as if her thoughts were spilling into the air. Why do you forgive? The alien asked, its voice soft, yet piercing. Mira blinked. Forgive? She thought of her parents, the arguments they had, the mistakes she had made. The humans had no choice but to cooperate. Yet this question cut deeper than any physical threat. Because holding anger destroys us, she whispered. Forgiveness helps us move forward, helps us survive. The alien studied her response intently. Its eyes glimmered with something almost like curiosity, or was it judgment? Survive, it repeated. Yet survival is not only a body, but of mind, of essence, of spirit. The humans realized the alien was no ordinary medic, no ordinary observer. It wasn't measuring blood, brain waves, or sleep patterns alone. It was measuring morality, resilience, and a capacity to endure beyond mere biology. Then came the questions that truly unnerved them. What is fear? The alien asked Lena, hovering above her pod. Lena's heart raced. Fear? She had felt it countless times, from space storms to near accidents. But could she articulate it to something alien? Could she reveal what it truly meant to be human? Fear is knowing something could hurt you or someone you love and not be able to stop it, she said carefully, her voice trembling. It's the weight in your chest, the tightening in your throat, but also the choice to act anyway. The alien's large eyes glimmered faintly. Choice, even under threat, remarkable, yet dangerous, yet alive. For the first time, the humans realized something else. They were teaching the alien about themselves, not the other way around. Every answer, every thought, every hesitation added to its understanding of humanity. Myra's hand shook as the alien asked her next question. Do you lie to survive? Mira hesitated. Every human had lied at some point. Small lies, white lies, but to survive? She thought of the difficult decisions she had made in her life. Could she admit that truth here? Yes, she whispered finally. Sometimes survival demands lies. The alien tilted its head, eyes gleaming. Lies and truth intertwined, choices define essence. Captain James realized they were walking a delicate line. Every answer mattered. Every hesitation, every emotion, every human instinct was being analyzed, dissected, and understood. Days, or what felt like days, passed this way. The humans were forced to confront questions they had never faced. Questions that reached into memory, morality, courage, and even their dreams. Why do you love? The alien asked one cycle, its voice almost a whisper that vibrated directly inside their minds. The humans looked at each other, stunned. Love? They had loved parents, friends, partners, even abstract ideas like Earth itself. But to explain in a way that an alien might understand was terrifying. Love, James said slowly. It is what gives us strength, what gives us reason to endure. Without it, we are empty. The alien moved among them, observing reactions, subtle shifts in expression, the tiniest tremor of a hand, the barely audible catch of breath. It recorded everything. Strength, reason, endurance, connection. It repeated. Humans are unpredictable yet fascinating. The humans realized that predictability was dangerous. Every thought, every instinct, Every reflex could either impress the alien or mark them as unfit. One night, Lena awoke to find the alien silently observing her dreams. She dreamed of Earth, of her childhood, of a river she had loved as a girl. The alien floated closer, its large eyes glimmering. She felt fear, but also a strange sense of being understood. "Why? Do you remember?" it asked. "Because memory shapes us," Lena said softly. "Without memory, we are nothing. We repeat mistakes. We lose ourselves." The alien paused, its expression unreadable. Then it whispered almost to itself, "Memory, survival, essence, humans endure because they remember." Mira noticed something new in the alien's behavior. It began reacting to subtle emotions, slight shifts in courage, glimmers of hope, even unspoken fear. It seemed to value resilience over strength, creativity over obedience, curiosity over blind survival. Captain James realized something that chilled him to the core. This alien was not judging them by their bodies, weapons, or abilities. It was judging their humanity, their ability to endure hardship, to love, to fear, to hope, to forgive, and even to lie when necessary. These were the metrics that mattered. The alien's questions grew increasingly personal. It asked about regrets, mistakes, moments of weakness, moments of courage. The humans were forced to confront their own essence, their deepest fears, their most intimate hopes. "Why do you suffer?" it asked Mira one night. Myra's eyes widened. Suffer? Everyone suffered. Everyone knew pain. She struggled to explain. "We suffer because life is not perfect, because pain teaches us, because it makes joy brighter." The alien remained silent, but its eyes glimmered faintly. Pain and joy, intertwined, remarkable, human. Captain James realized the pattern. The alien was building a model, not of their bodies, not of their species, but of their spirit. Every answer, every hesitation, every choice contributed to a growing understanding. Lena whispered to Mira later, her voice trembling. "Do you think it understands humans more than we understand ourselves?" Mira nodded slowly. "It sees the truth, the parts we hide from ourselves, our essence, our will to survive." Then came the final, most unsettling question of the cycle. Why do you live when you should not? The humans were silent. Why indeed? Why were they still alive in this strange laboratory, observed by an alien intelligence that could understand more than they could imagine? Why had chance or fate preserved them when others had not survived? James realized the truth. Survival was no longer about instinct, reflex, or strength. It was about choice, resilience, morality, and essence. And every human in the room had to answer that question, not to themselves, but to an alien mind that could measure the weight of their answers. Mira spoke finally, her voice small but firm. "Because we fight, because we endure, because even in fear, even in suffering, we do not give up." The alien's eyes glimmered faintly, almost like a nod. "You endure. You persist. You reveal essence extraordinary." The humans felt a strange mix of relief and fear. They were alive, but the alien had not yet decided what that meant. Every answer, every dream, every heartbeat, every choice would continue to matter. As they drifted into sleep again, a thought passed through their minds in unison. Survival was no longer simple. It was not chance. It was proof of human essence, proof that they deserved to continue existing. And somewhere in the calm, glowing laboratory, the alien observed silently, recording, understanding, and waiting for the next question, the next choice, the next revelation. For the humans, the true challenge had begun, not escaping the alien, not resisting, but revealing themselves in ways no one had ever imagined, and hoping that was enough. Days, or what felt like days, had passed in the alien laboratory. The humans were no longer merely frightened captives. They had learned that their minds, dreams, and choices were under constant scrutiny. Yet despite the fear, a strange bond had formed among them. A quiet understanding that their survival depended not only on themselves, but on unity, courage, and subtle cleverness. Captain James sat on the edge of his pod, rubbing his eyes. Mira sat beside him, her fingers trembling as she traced the soft surface of the platform. Lena stared at the walls, trying to find a pattern in the faint glow that pulsed around them. But the alien remained elusive. It observed silently, moving without sound, always present yet always distant. Then, a sound unlike anything they had heard before filled the room. A soft mechanical clicking, almost like a heartbeat, but irregular. The humans froze. It was not their devices. It was coming from the walls themselves. The alien appeared moments later, hovering silently above the floor. Its eyes glimmered faintly, reflecting the patterns of the pulsing lights around the room. Without speaking, it gestured toward the far wall. The humans hesitated, but followed its silent command. At the wall, a section of the glowing surface shifted. Behind it was a corridor they had never seen before. It was darker, narrower, and smelled faintly metallic. A faint mist hovered along the floor, and the hum of the room seemed to intensify. "You may see," the alien said softly, almost as if granting permission. The humans exchanged glances. They had no choice but to follow. Captain James led the way, with Mira and Lena close behind. Each step echoed faintly, but the alien remained silent, gliding effortlessly behind them. As they walked, images began to appear on the walls. Not projections, more like embedded memories, memories captured and stored. The humans recognized them faintly. Other humans, other captives, lying on similar pods, their faces pale, some peaceful, some terrified. Others, James whispered, his voice barely audible. Who were they? The alien's eyes glimmered. Observed, measure recorded, yet many did not endure. Mira felt a chill run down her spine. Did they die? The alien made no immediate answer. It hovered beside a human projection of a figure they had never met. The figure's eyes opened, wide with fear, but then dimmed, lifeless. They could not survive, the alien said finally, its calm voice cutting through the silence. They lacked essence, spirit, persistence, choice. Lena's stomach turned. They were seeing the cost of failure, not as punishment, but as consequence. The alien did not kill, they had learned that, but it observed and measured essence. Survival was not a right. It was earned. Captain James clenched his fists. Essence, spirit, persistence, is that why we are alive? The alien did not answer directly. Instead, it gestured toward another wall, where images of humans sleeping, dreaming, and struggling appeared. Then, a subtle pulse ran through the air, and the humans felt it in their minds. A connection, faint but undeniable. It was as if they could sense the thoughts and experiences of the previous captives. Fear, courage, hope, despair, all recorded, all analyzed, all observed, lessons recorded. The alien said, "You are next in line, yet unique." Mira whispered to Lena, her voice shaking. "Next in line? Does that mean we could fail?" The alien's eyes glimmered, reflecting the memories on the walls. Failure is not necessary, yet survival requires revelation, endurance, adaptation, understanding. James felt a mix of dread and realization. The alien's purpose was not cruelty. It was not war. It was study, deep, relentless study of the human essence. And in that study lay the terrifying truth. Every thought, every dream, every emotion mattered. Then, something unexpected happened. The images shifted among the previous humans. Some figures began to move, just slightly, like ghosts trying to reach out. Their eyes opened and a faint glow surrounded them. The humans realized these were not just memories. They were residual consciousnesses, echoes of minds that had been observed but had failed to endure fully. James stepped closer, heart pounding. "What are they?" The alien's voice was calm, almost reverent. Remnants, traces of life, essence captured, lessons left behind. Observe, learn, understand. Mira felt an urge to reach out to one of the echoes. Her fingers trembled, almost touching the faintly glowing figure of a woman she had never met. As she did, a flood of emotion hit her. Fear, pain, longing, courage. She gasped, staggering back. They experienced humanity. The alien said softly, "You may learn from them, survive." The humans realized the alien was offering them insight into what had made other humans fail, and why they, perhaps, might succeed. Survival was no longer just instinct or willpower. It was understanding, learning, and adapting from what had come before. Hours passed as they explored the corridor of secrets. The echoes revealed snippets of thought, of emotion, of memory, each one a lesson in human strength and weakness. The humans began to recognize patterns. Courage alone was not enough. Strength alone did not matter. Survival required balance, mind, heart, and spirit in harmony. Then came the most chilling revelation. At the end of the corridor, a single pod lay isolated, unlike the others. It glowed faintly, and inside was a human figure. The alien had preserved them fully, but something was wrong. The figure's eyes were wide open, staring without recognition, almost like a hollowed shell. This one endured yet lacked understanding. The alien said. Its voice carried weight, as if this example was a warning. Mira felt a shiver run down her spine. Even if they survived, they lost themselves. The alien's eyes glimmered. Essence, not preserved, only life, remains. True survival requires revelation, spirit awareness. The humans realized a terrifying truth. Survival alone was meaningless without understanding, without essence, without the qualities that define what it truly meant to be human. Captain James clenched his fists, feeling both fear and determination. Then we must not only survive, we must prove our humanity, our essence. The alien observed, silently approving, or at least registering, the determination in his voice. As the humans returned to their pods, the alien introduced a new layer of observation. Small devices appeared again, this time directly interfacing with their minds. They were not restraints. They did not force sleep, but they allowed the alien to enter their thoughts more directly, to see beyond dreams, beyond words, into raw instinct and emotion. Mira felt the device activate. She saw faint images of her past, her fears, her dreams, and then she felt the alien observing them, almost like it was walking through her mind. "You endure," it said softly, its voice a vibration inside her thoughts. "You adapt, yet more is required." James realized that the alien was pushing him not to exhaustion, but to revelation. Every dream, every answer, every thought was a test of depth, insight, and essence. By the next cycle, the humans began to cooperate in ways they had never imagined. They whispered strategies, shared memories to help one another anticipate questions, even manipulated dreams subtly to reveal courage, compassion, and ingenuity to the alien. One night, Lena whispered to Mira, "Do you think it values spirit more than strength?" Mira nodded. "Yet it studies our essence, our choices, our morality. That is what survives." Then the alien spoke again, addressing all of them at once. Observation, completed yet not finished. Insight, gathered, yet more is required. Survival is earned through understanding, revelation, endurance. The humans understood that the alien study had reached a pivotal moment. They were no longer passive captives. They were participants in a profound test, one that measured humanity itself. And then, as they drifted into sleep once more, the humans felt a strange connection, not just to the alien, but to the echoes of those who had come before. They realized that survival was a chain, a lesson, a revelation passed from one human to another, observed and preserved by the alien. Captain James, Mira, and Lena felt it clearly. They were not only fighting for life, they were proving the essence of humanity itself. But the alien's eyes, calm and glimmering, suggested a final truth. Understanding was not enough. Insight alone did not guarantee survival. Something deeper, something uniquely human, would soon be required. And somewhere in the quiet, glowing laboratory, a single question lingered, unspoken but understood. Who among you will truly endure?